Whether you're buying your first domain name or you're a regular domain investor, you need the right tools for the job. That's why you need domain tools. They can help you research the history of a domain, including who owned it and what used to be on the site. They can notify you when a domain is expiring, and they can even alert you when competitors are buying domains. DomainTools.com needs to be in your toolbox like it is in mine. Sign up for your free account on DomainTools.com today. If you're a domain name investor, don't you have unique legal needs that require technical know-how and industry experience? That's why you need David Westlow of Wiley Rein. If you watched his interview on my show, you know he can clearly explain issues and help you with buy-sell agreements, website content issues, UDRP actions, or even website terms and conditions. David Westlow is the lawyer you call for internet legal issues. See for yourself at newmediaip.com. Managing multiple domain name marketplace and auction site accounts is a pain. We all know it. Inevitably, you forget to sign into one, you lose a great domain. Now imagine using a single, simple-to-use, comprehensive control panel to manage all of your accounts. That's Protrata. With just a few clicks, you can analyze, set filters, automate your bidding, and sell your domains across all major marketplaces, including Namejet, GoDaddy, and Snapdames. You can build out websites using their customized Google-friendly templates. They also just launched a fresh new look and provide some great resources like a personal assistant named Alfred and video tutorials with tips and tricks. I've been beta testing their iPhone app, and it is slick. Get your free 14-day trial now at Protrata.com. Here's your program. Hey everyone, my name is Michael Seiger and I'm the publisher of DomainSherpa.com, the domain name authority and the place where you can learn how to become a successful domain name entrepreneur directly from the experts themselves. You know what we do here. We bring on a successful domain name investor, entrepreneur, or subject matter expert, ask them to share tips and tactics, and then we motivate you in your area of expertise. Then you can come on the show and give back to others about what you learned and how you became successful. Whether you're a domain name investor today looking for a great deal or an entrepreneur looking for the perfect domain name for your business, you're best served by visiting the largest marketplace for domain names. Since GoDaddy is the largest domain name registrar with more than 50 million domain names under management, they are also one of the largest domain name aftermarkets in terms of quantity of sales per month. Joining me to tell us all of the secrets of GoDaddy auctions and aftermarkets is Paul Nix. Paul is the Director of Product Development for the Aftermarket Division at GoDaddy. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mike. Thanks.
Paul, most people in the world probably outside of the domain name industry, most people in the world probably don't realize that domain names can be bought and sold like real estate and that aftermarkets and auctions even exist. Does GoDaddy research support that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we've been really making a concerted effort to do over the past couple of years, say, is put the knowledge of the aftermarket, put auctions that are available, inventory that's available in the aftermarket in general, in front of the customers that are going there to buy a domain name. And as we start to mature as an industry, obviously the higher quality names, the really category killers, and even the ones that aren't necessarily category killers, but just kind of sound cool, those are the ones that aren't available, but there very well could be a buyer available for it. So as they come and do a registration or avail check on GoDaddy.com, we made a very concerted effort to start bringing that inventory in front of them. Just put it in front of everybody, and all of a sudden you increase that awareness of the aftermarket throughout. And that's kind of what I've been doing the past couple of years, is really trying to increase the inventory, increase just the knowledge of this space. And I think you only do that through showing users, showing potential buyers that those names do exist, and there is somewhere they can get a name if it's not available to register afresh.
Got it. So is it part of your job to help, and the team that you lead, to help educate the general audience about the aftermarket, or does that stay part of the role of the marketing team at GoDaddy?
We all kind of work together. So, the aftermarket division, we have marketing folks, and we've got the support team, the executive account reps at GoDaddy are very good, and we've got dedicated auction support and such. So we all work together. I can't say it's one person's job over another. You know, as product manager, as that's sort of defined around here, yes, I mean, it's my responsibility to make sure that customers are able to use our applications, that it meets what customers are saying it needs. So we've got quite a bit of focus on customer feedback and such.
Okay, so let's start the show with some basic information on GoDaddy. Most domainers know in general how big GoDaddy is, but for those in the audience that are business owners or entrepreneurs, can you describe how big GoDaddy is and whatever metrics you feel are most relevant?
Sure. Well, I think that we're roughly, you already said we're over 50 million domain names in management, which is bigger than the next 8 biggest registrars. So it's a significant number of domains under management. But we're also the #1 as far as net new SSL certificates goes. We have a pretty large chunk of our business, and hosting is a very large chunk of our business that we're at the top there as well. So there's a lot of things that beyond domain registrations that GoDaddy does, and we have a customer base of 8.7 million customers. So that alone is quite a bit. So it's a nice little, I suppose, lead tool there to make sure that all those customers that have a domain with GoDaddy also are able to have other services and such and get what they need out of GoDaddy. So it's, I want to say, the one-stop shop, I suppose, where we have domain registrations, but we also have all the other services that can go along with building a small business up to a larger business, et cetera.
Definitely. And so, to me, as somebody relatively new to the domain name industry, it seems like the domain business is sort of a lost leader. You offer coupons all the time. If people go and search, there's tons of websites that seem to have GoDaddy coupons that offer, .coms for cheap or .biz for cheap, and that you might offer those for, a small markup, but then you try and upsell the hosting and the email and, a host of other services. Is that truly the case?
Well, I think that what we try to do, obviously, once you have somebody who's purchased a domain name, then that's where they've decided their presence online is going to be. And you don't want to take that for granted, right? If somebody is putting their name out there saying, I want to start a business, I want this to be my presence online. And it's up to us to make sure that they're supported well. So once we have that, the biggest thing about GoDaddy is not that we register domains cheaply, it's the support we have. We've got the 24/7, all US-based support that really is where we get the customer in, make them feel comfortable. If they need another service, we have that to provide as well. So I wouldn't characterize it as an upsell notion as much as finding somebody who wants to build an online business and helping them achieve that goal through in-house services.
Yeah. Well, and I got to say, just off the bat, and I do use GoDaddy and as one of my registrars, and the other day I couldn't figure out how to get an email catch-all on one domain to forward to another, and I saw the chat button and I clicked it, and not only did support help me get up and running on setting up the catch-all on that domain name so I can get all the email, but they also said, by the way, you also have 100 credits in your account for email and you didn't need to pay the $2.95 for this, so just email over to billing and they'll refund you, which I still haven't done. But I gotta say, in terms of customer service, that was top notch to suggest that, because it really shows that they're focused on customer service.
Yeah, we built the entire company on it. I mean, it's absolutely the rock foundation of the company.
Yeah. So since we're going to be talking about the aftermarket and auctions, how many customers do you have at GoDaddy that might be signing into their accounts and looking at auctions going on there?
Well, like I say, we've got 8.7 million customers.
Wow.
And because we extend our GoDaddy auctions inventory into the avail check section of GoDaddy, potentially every one of those customers, any customer or any person who's not even a registered customer at GoDaddy, who's looking for a domain name to register, gets exposed to the aftermarket.
Right. So I can go there to GoDaddy.com, I can type in michaelsiger.com, and it will, because I own it, it may actually come up and say, this is available, and you can buy it for $2,000, or if I were selling it, what the price would be, and then it would just take that user directly to the auction section. Is that the way it works?
There's a couple different ways of going there. If the name is just at auction, say in an offer counter offer model where the seller hasn't put a buy now price on it, then it'll be a link off to the auction site, and the user will be able to bid on the name and do the back and forth in that method. But if it's listed through our premium listing service, which is where we have the fast transfer capable, then the purchase experience to the end user, the customer, is exactly like registering a domain name. They go through, we say, yes, it is available. Here's the price on it. They add it right to their cart. Once they pay, it automatically transfers to their account, just like as if they had registered it. So that seamless flow is really where we're trying to push a lot of people and such. All
right. I'm going to come back and ask you about that seamless flow, because I want to know if it's actually confusing from a layman's perspective, somebody that doesn't understand the system. But we'll come back to that. How many domain names are there in the GoDaddy auctions aftermarket?
We're over 4.4 million now.
Okay. And how many domain names do you sell per month, roughly?
Per month, I think last month it was roughly 38,000 domains.
38,000?
That was a good month for us. Yeah, I think the quarter prior we averaged about 34, 35.
And what does an average domain name sell for in your auctions?
Because we mix, we've got our expired names and then public listings as well. It's hard to put a gauge on there, but in general, the public listings are in that $1,000 range, and that's really our sweet spot.
Yeah, and that's what Tim Schumacher said from Cito, that most domain names sell in the range of $1,000. So if we, just back of the envelope calculation, if you're selling about 36,000 domain names, 38,000 domain names at $1,000 a pop, that's $36 million a month, and over $400 million a year. Of course, that's gross revenue, and not all of it is GoDaddy's to keep, but that's an enormous aftermarket that you're managing there.
We do well.
Okay, so is the revenue of GoDaddy public right now?
No, GoDaddy is still a private company.
Okay. So I've read in some reports online that GoDaddy has revenue over $1.1 billion, at least as of July 2011. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, that's where we're trending for the year is $1.1 billion. So sounds right. Sounds good.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to dig into how you run the world's, let's call it, highest velocity marketplace, because you have so many domain names going through your marketplace and selling per month. But before we do that, let me ask you a few personal questions, Paul. How many domain names do you own, and in what TLDs?
Less than 100. I think I've got about 75 now. I used to have 150 or so, but I've let some fall by the wayside. Mostly, I've got a lot of comms. I like org these days, so I've been getting some orgs, but it's not as much on the speculative side as now. I'm just doing some personal things and helping people out with domains and such.
Got it. Do you own paulnix.com?
I do. And nix.me and nixfamily.com, and all sorts of personal names, yes.
Yeah. As director at GoDaddy, are you allowed to play the market if you see good domains dropping or ending in auction?
Not at GoDaddy. I'm not allowed to bid on or sell names through my own marketplace, but there's no restrictions as far as going to another marketplace and such and doing that.
Great. And do you own any generic domain names, category killer domain names, anything that would make people salivate hearing your domain portfolio?